everyone, welcome in. This is Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper. I am here for your weekly card class from Maine. It is Monday night, 8 o'clock on the East Coast here. And tonight we are doing something completely different because normally we do flowers. We do a lot of flower stamping. We do a lot of flower sets, right? Their flowers are lovely. Today we're doing something a little different. And if you follow me just as me, Julie Maxon, I just shared a few minutes ago on my personal Facebook page, the cutest little boots showed up today at my house. So Edison, my 3.5-year-old grandson, had turtle boots on. And I was like, oh my gosh, Eddie, you're so on point here because look, we're making turtle cards today. We're making sea turtle cards. And I just thought that was so cute that he was wearing little turtle boots today. So, hi Lori. Okay, it looks like I am live. I like to chat for just a second because I want to make sure you guys can hear me and you can see me. So I think we're good. So today's class is all about sea turtles. Like I was just saying, we are working on sea turtles, something different. And this is a different kind of stamp as well. This is a reversible stamp. And you might not have ever heard of reversible stamps before. This is something I believe that is just exclusive to Stampin' Up. So let's get over to my workspace. We're going to talk about sea turtles. We're going to talk about card kits. We're going to talk about reversible stamps. We're going to talk about all of the good things. Make sure as everyone watches, jump on, say hi, say replay. I'd love to know. Hi, Roxana. I'd love to know who's watching and hanging out with me for a little bit tonight in the craft room. All right, so let's get over there and we're going to talk all about the sea turtle. This is really fun. Now, yesterday, I think on Facebook, I mentioned the fact that these stamps look average in size, right? They look average in size. But when you open up the stamp set inside, these stamps are actually ginormous. Like from the outside, this image, to the inside, it's like the sea turtle has a superpower and he grew, like, right? So everything here is a lot smaller than what's inside. So this is kind of a surprise to see that, even in the catalog, page 29, right? These images are small, and it does say here artwork is shown at 50%. But a lot of times we don't pay attention to the fine print, right? We're looking at the images and we're like, oh, okay, they're whatever, right? Photopolymer, as you can see, I think there's only 2 stamps in here. I mean, they're kind of hard to see here, but I only have 2 stamps that are unmounted. We're using a ton of these, like almost all of them. And I love when I do a card class where I show so many of the stamps. Now, this is called a reversible stamp. So it says right here a little bit about reversibles. Reversible stamps, and we're going to actually use them as reversibles tonight. Not for all of them, but for some of them. So we've got your regular image where you would stamp, and you get your great image, but reversibles are meant to flip over and use the smooth backside as the filler stamp. So it's like 2-step stamping, but you're not actually using 2 different stamps. You're using the same stamp twice. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we make our fun cards tonight. So the only other thing about sea turtle is, of course, there's no sentiments. This is all images. We've got the sea turtle, some fish, starfish, sand dollar, seaweed, and some really awesome bubbles, right? So for the sentiments for my card, I just want to choose one stamp set when I'm doing a card class. So I chose this one, Love for You. This is kind of a sleeper in the catalog, I think, because it looks like it's a Valentine's Day stamp set when you look through the mini catalog. But it has some really great sentiments in here besides Valentine's Day, right? And we're actually using this on our cards, and it's perfect. I mean, like this first card right here, nobody gets me like you get me. I love this sentiment. And I asked recently over on Positive Paper Crafters, does anyone ever buy a stamp set just for one sentiment? And I feel like this is the one sentiment in this stamp set that someone would buy this for. Nobody gets me like you get me. This is just perfect. Now, of course, I chose some really fun little turtles here, a little play on color, because I always like to do a fun card. We have Thanks for All You Do on this card right here. So again, I'm using from here, Thanks for All You Do. And our last card, we're using Congratulations, and we're going to do some heat embossing. So this one's got some nice shine to it. So those are the cards from our class tonight. I just wanted to show you where all of these parts and pieces, things are coming from. We move those aside. And as always, I offer these card kits in the mail. If you're interested in placing an order with me this week, $35 minimum order is going to get you these card kits. And these are heavy duty. There's a lot of paper in these. These are heavy. You're getting some ribbons, designer paper, anything that is embossed is coming your way. Everything is die cut for you if needed. The only thing I never do is stamping. And of course, if there's a die or a punch that goes with a set, I don't do that either. But for this one, I mean, it's just stamping. So heavy duty card kits, you're getting 2 of each. So you're getting 6 card kits in the mail for a $35 order. And if you place a $50 order, I'm sending out this week the Rustic Metallic Adhesive Back Dots. So I did use these on each of my cards. They're very, like, super versatile. They're a nice kind of, almost like a copper penny color. They're not quite brassy. And those are the embellishments that I've used on each of my cards. So $50 or more is going to get you the card kits and a free embellishment. And I have that host code open through Friday evening, as I always do. So if you have any questions on that, definitely give me a shout. It is in the comments as well. And I know that a lot of you have gotten some card kits from me, and I know that you're enjoying them, so I love that so much. So your card kit comes, you've got 2 envelopes, you've got 2 card bases. I'm just going to go ahead and separate out. We're going to do one card together, just like we always do on a Monday night. And of course, everything is all ready to go here. Now this paper for our first card is actually from Enjoy the Journey. So this, you may look at this a little bit and go, where does this paper come from? But this is Enjoy the Journey paper. I actually do have a card base all set, ready to go. I like to do that so I don't have to even score them here. Easy peasy. And we're going to get into some stamping. Now, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to be using 3 colors tonight: Pool Party, Gorgeous Grape, and Bermuda Bay. These are the colors that we're using for this card. So again, some fun, lively colors, not the normal, like, boring greens and browns that you might think of for a turtle card, right? We like to shake it up. This is fun. This would be a great birthday card. This would be a great birthday card for kids. Let's even go further than that. Say birthday card for kids, right? Sometimes different birthday cards are hard to make. The turtles also probably are going to make a really great masculine card too. I know that a lot of people have a hard time with masculine cards. So we're just going to start inking this up. And because this is such a big stamp, this is the bubbles. I'm going to kind of do it a little bit backwards there. And I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to come around my card base. And I'm doing tone on tone. So we've got some Bermuda Bay here. And I'm going to rotate and I'm going to just kind of do this a couple more times. So we're just going to ink this up this way. And we're gonna, as my papers turn, I'm keeping the more high and low toward the center of the card and keeping the outside a little bit more like, actually I'm gonna go this way. We're gonna do top and bottom first, then the sides. I just feel like it's a little bit easier. Now, of course, if you liked this and you wanted to stop right now, you could go with just that. You could put this next layer piece on, which is almost what I did when I first made this card, but I really felt like it needed more. So you can kind of see this one's, maybe you're a minimalist, maybe you don't think it needs more. I really like the one with the more, right? So we're going more today. We're doing it up big time. And it's fun to stamp. And if you're new to stamping, this is a great way to practice, is to do some tone on tone, is very forgiving. And background stamping is also awesome. Now this actually fits in here really nicely on the side. So again, I'm just going to kind of line it up. If my bubbles overlap a little bit, it's perfectly okay. So there's side number 3. And we're going to do this one more time. And this is, like every stamp in this stamp set is reversible. So there are, different ways that you can use them. So some of my stamping tonight will just be simple stamping, and some will be a little bit different. Now, how cool is this? We actually have some dies that look similar to this, not quite the same shape, but they have that kind of oblong, funky shape, right? How cool would it be to just pop a big old turtle, like right in the middle? I actually did a whole bunch of turtles earlier. I was playing with turtles. Can I find any of them right now? Probably not. Yes, I can. Okay, so here's, I actually cut this one. This one didn't make the card. He was the wrong color, but how cool would it be to just put this big turtle right here in the center of this card, right? I mean, you don't even have to add all these different layers and things. I was playing with turtles. I play with a lot of things when I design the cards, and I just leave stuff everywhere. The cleanup is not fun. I think we discussed that on Positive Paper Crafters this week. Cleanup is not fun. All right, so creating is fun. We're going to actually use some Gorgeous Grape with this Bermuda Bay. These are some bright, fun colors, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the designer paper. This is going to go right here, matted nicely on the Gorgeous Grape. And then this is going to come right down here on top of my card. So a little bit of a different take on sea turtles here for the first card out the gate. And I'm just going to center this right here. This is going to cover up any of the bubbles that didn't make it all the way across my card. So this really looks like we did a whole, I mean, you wouldn't know that it's not stamped behind there, right? Isn't that awesome? All right, we have a little bit more stamping for this one, and then basically just finishing assembly. This is a really, really easy card. So let me bring in Gorgeous Scrape and the famous sentiment, nobody gets me like you get me. And I've got to find my sentiments here. Here they are, this one right here. So we're going to just go ahead and put this on here. Now, if you don't have the stamp set, you can fill in a sentiment with whatever you have at home. Maybe you have a small happy birthday. I didn't want it to take up too much room, so that's going to go on there. And then we're going to stamp our turtle. So this is the small turtle. So in this turtle set, the sea turtles, we have a big one and we have a little one. The little one has, and you're going to see that their flippers, their little front arms, are kind of going, this guy has his more back and this guy has his more out. So they do look a little bit different, which is nice. Besides just the size, they do look different. And I think I have him set up. I have to feel these because I have been playing with these in reverse, which means some of them are mounted backwards. And usually mounted backwards is not correct. All right, so on my sample card here, I did a pool party turtle. And I'm just going to pop him right here in the middle. Pool party turtle. He's so cute, right? And we're going to go on to Bermuda Bay. Now, because Pool Party and Bermuda Bay are almost, they're very tonal, right? One's lighter, one's darker. I'm just stamping off, and you can barely see that I have ink over here. Rather than clean right now, I'm just going to go right here into my Bermuda Bay. And there's only a few times that I will actually do this without cleaning. But I will clean between Bermuda Bay and Gorgeous Scrape because I definitely don't want the inks to mix, right? So I'm just going to use my chamois. I love this. I love that I can pick this up and clean. All right, so that's good to go. We're going to be using this quite a bit tonight, this chamois. And now we're going to come over here and grab some Gorgeous Scrape. And my little turtle's going to come over here this way. And every time you do this, you may line this up just a little bit differently too. I kind of wanted them to be slightly touching, but not touching, just so that we can get some nice, you know, nice little coverage of turtles. 3 turtles going across there. Aren't they just so cute? I love these little turtles. Okay, we're going to do some gluing now of the layers. So the sea turtles are going on a nice little mat here of Gorgeous Grape. And another thing about these card kits, if you don't have turtles and you don't want to use turtles, obviously you can swap out your theme. You're basically getting kits that have different colors in them and different designer papers in them, and then you do with them whatever you like. All right, so we're going to put these on with some dimensionals. So I'm going to grab out my dimensionals here of different sizes. We're going to use the big ones. So when I put the turtles on, because this piece right here is longer than this piece underneath of it, I don't want to put my dimensionals all the way to the edge because they're going to hit this outside edge kind of funny. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually going to put my dimensionals kind of more in the middle. So you see that I'm not going all the way to the outside edges because these 2 outside edges are going to come down here, and I want the dimensionals basically to hit the middle of my card, my designer paper here, just like that. So they don't have the weeble wobbles. So if you're using different layering sizes, you always want to keep in mind how your dimensionals are going to hit when you put your cards together. And because I use so many layers all the time, I'm always pretty aware of the tips and the tricks on how to make this work out really well. So here we go. We're coming along really nicely with our card. And then we're going to do this one. Same thing is going to apply right here. So this sentiment is going to come off just a little bit here. So I'm going to actually keep my dimensionals. I'm going to put 2 of them on here. And I'm going to just remember that I want them here for nobody. So, and then the second one I'm going to put here. I'm going to leave this no dimensional because it's going to sit on here and it's going to be fine, but I don't want a dimensional to come off here and just kind of be in the way with my other layers. So this one's going to come right over here, and you can just decide how far over maybe you want it to go. Just like that. Nobody gets me like you get me. And this is just a really nice kind of different little layout. And we're going to bring in some of these great little adhesive back gems here, and we're going to add a few onto our card. So we're going to put one there. My putty is always a little wonky. Okay, one there. And then we're going to do another small one at the top. Now, when you have yours at home, obviously, you can put them however you like. I do like to use 3 for the most part on my card, and I try to make that triangle formation to fill in the space, wherever the space is, that needs a little bit of something there. But how cute is that? Fun? Oh my gosh, I love this first card right out the gate. I just think it's really cute. I love the colors, and very simple to make, right? This is not a very complicated card. Definitely just some little bit of stamping, and you're off to the races. All right, let me check real quickly. Messages. Hi, Jess. Hi, Sandra. And Linda watching closed captions so I can Zoom board meeting. I love it. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Of course, right? This is way more fun than Zoom board meetings. This is card making, right? So this is awesome. All right, we are going to move on to our second card here. And of course, our cards are going to get a little bit more complicated as we go. So we're getting warmed up. We're bringing in the next card kit. I love this one. This one actually might be my favorite. Normally I save my favorite for last, but I think that this one is probably my favorite. So we have a lot going on in this card as well. I sit down and I try to make simple cards, and they end up with 50 million layers. I can't possibly come up with simple. I don't know. I just have a hard time. I like the layers. I like a lot of little things on there. Now you're going to get some embossed pieces. This is the striped embossing folder of the Stripes and Splatters 3D embossing folders. These are the minis, so that's the embossing folder here. So you're getting your embossed piece, Night of Navy with crumb cake base. Now the designer paper, this is perfect. This is by the Bay, and also I wanted to point out to you, oh my gosh, this almost could work too. This backside has actually like a little bit of shiny like specialty paper, and obviously, right, I'm always curious as we put this together, as we kind of half layer this together. Look at this shine. I mean, like, this could work, but I really like this side. So we're probably just going to go with that. Now I wanted to point out for this card, this is something different. Normally we are using colorful cardstock for our matte layers behind. And this time I actually brought in white, and you can see how much it brightens up this card. It needed that little bit of white in there for a little pop of bright, and also kind of to offset our sentiment. So that's why there's actually a white matte instead of a colorful matte. And that's something that I don't do very often, but I thought this card was just perfect for it. We're going to be making a really awesome big sea turtle. We're going to be playing with the reversible stamp on this one. And let me just grab out my little sentiment pieces here. Now again, because my sentiments are very small in the stamp set, these are small paper pieces. I think I said that right, paper pieces for the sentiment. And this ribbon right here, crumb cake with a little bit of white in it. So we're tying in a lot of white for this card. And this is actually the ribbon. It's a 2-pack of ribbon. Actually, it's not even here. This is the ribbon, right? Yes, Julie, this is your ribbon. It's in the Valentine's Day section of the mini catalog, and it came with a red spool as well. So there was 2 spools that came with that. All right, so you can kind of see here where we're going. I mean, like, so simple, right? We're just going to start layering. And you always get to choose when you have an embossed layer if you want to have the embossed or the debossed side facing up. Now, this is the same height as my card base. This is 5.5. So I'm basically trying to line it up top and bottom, but also to the outside edge. A lot of times I leave a little bit of a matte look, but for this card I actually brought it all the way over to the very outside edge. So we're going to pop that on there. And I am definitely going to keep the beautiful colorful side up because I really do like that. Now, if you were doing a different theme at home, you weren't doing turtles, maybe that specialty paper, keeping everything kind of brown and neutral would be great. I feel like this is a great guy card. Change the sentiment. You could have a Father's Day card. You could have a guy birthday card. Oh, I forgot to stamp my my edge. And we're going to do that right now. We're going to stamp right over top of this. I got going. I was so excited about my layers. Some days, I tell you what. So this is the first attempt at reversibles that I wanted to show you, and I totally forgot. But this is live, and we go with it, and we fix it, and we keep, you know, we're just doing this. So there's this little fish stamp up here. So obviously you can see the shadow stamps for each of these are the reversible area. So this is the fish. And I know that I have the fish up right now, so I'm actually going to put the fish side down. I think my blocks are really, they need to be cleaned, amongst other things in my craft room. All right, so now we just have that that flat side up. Like if you put a stamp set on backwards and it's flat, you kind of know it, right? So when we stamp this way, we're actually just going to get these shapes right here that look like kind of like maybe the what the sand looks like after the waves come in and out, kind of a little bit darker. Maybe these are turtle trails heading back down into the ocean. I just wanted to play with this a little bit, and I'm gonna put these on here. It's gonna overlap a little bit, but it's gonna be okay because most of this is gonna get covered up anyway. So I'm just gonna come in here, and I'm having a hard time getting all the way over because I put my layer on and I'm coming up over top of this extra layer here. But this is the back of the fish stamp, so you can kind of see it's just kind of a blobby. And I'm just going to stamp it in random patterns. So I'm kind of rotating my stamp a little bit. Some of them are going to come off the paper, some of them are going to come, you know, not quite to the edge. We're just getting a really random effect here. Now this would have been probably a nicer thing to view if I had not put down my Night of Navy so quickly. So you're getting the idea of what I'm trying to do here. And you know, this is the world of stamping, right? Okay. So now you can see that I did as much as I could to get over here to the side. Now this didn't quite catch all the way because it came up over this higher edge. It caught there a little bit, but we're okay because the reality is this is going to come over top and it's going to fix it, and no one is going to know except for you guys watching me live or watching me on replay. No one's going to know that I messed that up just a little bit. I only messed it up a little bit, not like horribly, but a little bit. All right, put my fishies back over there. So let's glue this down so we can get rid of my boo-boo right away. You know, that's how she goes sometimes. But all in all, I think it still looks pretty good. Like, you wouldn't really, I mean, actually, you can't tell. Can't tell. I love that. I love when you you can fix something that you oopsed and no one will ever know. All right, so I'm going to bring in my little sentiment piece. Here we've got thanks for all you do, and I just have to find thanks for all you do. Right here it is. And this is Night of Navy. Love the Night of Navy. It's a nice bright, it's a dark color. I mean to say dark, not bright. It's a nice dark color. We're going to just put that right on there, and we will be gluing these together and popping those on the card here in a little bit. But what we're going to do now is talk about this big turtle. This ginormous turtle. God, he's so cool. This is like the coolest turtle in, I mean, like the coolest stamp, I think, in the stamp set. Now mine is a little bit stained because I have been playing with him. And I have the smooth side up. So we're going to do the smooth side up first. And we're going to, oh, I just dipped an ink pad in my open Night of Navy ink. Let me do a quick cleanup here. And we'll take care of, wow, I'm having a Monday here. I didn't realize I was having Monday until like about 10 minutes ago. We don't want that one yet. I have an open ink pad here, and that can be dangerous, but we're going to carry on. And we're going to do our turtle. Maybe I should move some things out of the way here. Okay, paper. Oh, look. Ink on my fingers, ink to the paper. We got this. All right, balmy blue. Here we go. Now this is the back of the turtle, and I'm going to go this way again with him because he's a big turtle here, right? So I'm just going to ink up the back of my turtle. Now this is the back of the stamp. So when I stamp this down, it's going to give me the outline, like the shadow image, right? How cool is that? I love it. All right, now I'm going to wipe this off because I don't want all this ink on my block, because we're going to flip him over and reverse him. I'm actually going to flip my block over as well. All right, so here is this side now, the regular stamping side. Let me move this out of the way. And we're going to bring in this Night of Navy that's causing some trouble today. And we're going to ink this guy up again. I love this in Night of Navy. I mean, just looking at it like this just makes me happy. I don't know why. So we're just going to do, just like we would two-step stamping, we're going to go right over top of the turtle. And how cool is that? Oh my gosh, I love this in blue. It kind of has the effect of that, you know, a deep ocean look, you know, so maybe you're looking at all those deep blues in the ocean, and that is what you're seeing. So that is the reversible. Now, of course, there's no dies with this. There's no punches. We're actually going to cut him out. He's not terrible to fussy cut. And I have him on white cardstock. I did play earlier with, like say I had Sahara sand. I was playing with some blues and greens and browns and things on Sahara sand because I really wanted to try to just have that kind of like a Sahara sand in the background. But I wasn't happy with how it turned out. So I did have a play instead with white cardstock. And we're just gonna cut this guy out. Now again, he's not super hard to cut out. And I am, again, he's on white cardstock. So because I'm not like the most careful or like really trying so hard to like get every little like white spot off of this, he's going to have some white spots left over, but we're going to do some cheating and fix that too. And I'm going to show you how as soon as I get done here. I'm almost done with this guy. Now I know that fussy cutting is not everyone's favorite. Jane, one of my friends, Jane's here, she said fussy cutting's relaxing, and I had to laugh a little bit because most people are like not fans of fussy cutting. Okay, so let's look at the turtle on my card and the turtle that I just fussy cut. So you can see no white, and you can see lots of white, and you can see lots of jagged white. I did not do like the best fussy cutting job in the world, because you don't have to if you're going to doctor it up. So I'm bringing back in this Night of Navy, and I'm bringing in my sponge dauber. And here's what we're going to do. We're actually just going to come down through here, and I'm going to give this guy a little coat of blue along the edges. Now it's really hard to get in between his armpit here. So I'm just going to actually take my dauber and kind of from the armpit, I'm just coming out this way. So it's really dark on both sides, but that's a really good way to get that in there. And it's a shadowy place, right? It's his armpit. It should be a little bit darker in there. So we're just gonna continue to go around him really quickly, adding down all of this dark blue ink. So again, I'm gonna get where I can, and I've got a lot of white right here, so I'm just gonna wipe it straight back. And you can see that it doesn't ruin the image because we're using the same color ink here that's already in our image. So we're just kind of enhancing this a little bit. Do the same thing here around his neck where the top of his arm and his neck meet. We're kind of just brushing that on there, and then just right around his face a little bit. And there is our turtle. Like, look how much better that looks, right? Actually, I missed a spot right there. So we're going to add a little bit more there. So much better to have them all darkened down and not have that white showing. Because that white just kind of screams like, I attempted to fussy cut, but maybe I didn't do a really good job, right? So that is so awesome. And I totally forgot I didn't do my ribbon either. Oh my gosh, I'm having such a day. Okay, we're gonna just reconvene here. I hope you guys are enjoying my little stamp show tonight, because my goodness, maybe my head's just not in the game here. I don't know. One of those days, I guess. It's a very busy day, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm working on right now. So anyway, this beautiful ribbon here was meant to come around here, and I'm wondering if I bring in my bone folder, can I squeak this up just enough to add the ribbon in? Yes, I can. Okay, bone folder is a magical tool, and I'm not going to take this all the way off because I really just want this down here on the bottom. Okay, so if I had not taped this down or glued this down, I would have done the ribbon around this part first. So you can see where I'm going with it. So it's coming around here, and then it is going to be, I'm going to actually tie it here on the side. Now you can do a faux bow if you want to. There's lots of different ways that you can do this, but I actually have enough ribbon in the kit that you can bring this around to the side here. And I'm just going to knot this just like this. So there's no bow, there's just knots. And I'm just going to make the knot work and we're good. Okay, we got it. Now, the thing here is that I don't have any tape on my ribbon, so I'm going to, this is probably a really good class to watch because this is Julie messing up quite a bit and then figuring out how she's going to fix her mess ups. So I just grabbed my glue dots and I just have one here and I'm going to lift my ribbon up a little bit and try to sneak that in underneath. And then I'm going to just pop that over top of my ribbon to help to secure it. I'm going to do one more. So I got this little glue dot and I'm going to just bring this up again. And then the ribbon is going to look like it's taped down, but it's not quite taped down because you've seen this, right? You've seen how this is going. We need some ribbon scissors because this knot is just way too big. So we're going to trim this up, make it look a little nicer. Okay, what? Okay, things are coming along now. So we've got that on there, beautiful. I do need to add some more glue underneath here where I kind of ripped that off of the base. So I'm going to add some more glue on there. Okay, and there we have it. Another boo-boo fixed, right? So we're just tackling them here one thing at a time, just one thing at a time. All right, so let's bring in my big turtle again. Look how cute he is. Now I'm not going to put the sentiment on here until I really know where my turtle's going to go. Actually, my turtle might come down a little bit farther. So you can see here on my my card, I didn't have that up higher. It just feels like it's higher. So we're going to look for some dimensionals because turtle's going on with dimensionals. I'm actually going to put one here and then kind of guesstimate where else I might want one, probably right about here. And that's just so I'm kind of working over top of the ribbon too. If I bring him down here, I can probably put a dimensional underneath the ribbon. So again, I'm trying to just make it so that he's not quite, not quite getting all of the bumpies from the ribbons and the different layers of things. I'm going to take the dimensionals off of here and I'm just going to go ahead and lay him on here just like that. Whew, he made it. Wow, this turtle, I'm telling you what, he was having a rough ride here on this card. He's a big turtle though, so you obviously know what the bigger turtles get, right? The older they are. That has nothing to do with us, of course. We don't get bigger as we get older, do we? Okay, there we have it. And I did it. Now we are missing our little gems. I'm going to bring these gems back in. And again, I'm using 3 of them. So I've got one down this way. I actually have a couple of them up this way this time. Just like that. Thanks for all you do. Look at that. I saved the card. And they actually look pretty similar as well. So that's really awesome. My little sand there, that is so cool. So tell me guys, in the reversible, talking about the reversible stamps here, this might be new to you or you might have used them before, but what do you think? Are they really cool? I love that you can do 2-step stamping with just one stamp, really. This reversible thing is really cool. All right, let me pop over and check. By the sea, yeah. Oh, thanks, Jess loves the second card. Awesome. Okay. Janice says, my voice is cutting in and out. My microphone looks like it's working, so hopefully it will hopefully everyone else can hear me and everything's going well. So I'll kind of try to keep an eye on that microphone part. But with the Monday that I'm having, it probably wouldn't surprise me if I was having some problems with my microphone as well. All right, so we're going to go on to our very last card here. This is a congratulations card. Now again, this could be a different themed card. It doesn't have to be congratulations, but this is your card kit and it really is a pretty card kit. We have very vanilla in here. So different from white, right? Because we use white a lot, but we don't use vanilla a lot. So you're getting 2 envelopes, 2 card bases, just like always. I have a base ready to go and we're going to separate out our kit. Now I have embossed some Blushing Bride with the very fancy Cascading Ruffles. So this is the Cascading Ruffles embossing folder. So fun, right? And then with Blushing Bride, I really like this soft suede. So let me just go ahead and we're going to talk about, this is texture chic paper. Look how pretty either side is, right? But I'm going for the gold here on this one because it's just beautiful. Hey, we're going to do some heat embossing. I have some punches here for this card. This, I did use my Stampin' Up punches. I'm just making sure I have everything, and I'm missing. This is the wrong size. I need a different size. Let's get out my punches real quick. We might have to redo here. So, like I had mentioned at one point, I have like all of the circle punches. I need a 1 1/4 in vanilla. So stand by, because it's Monday and all. I'm gonna grab out my scrap bin. So I talked about how I store all of my scraps and things, and I need 1 1/4. So we're just going to do a really quick, I love the circle punches, and I wish that Stampin' Up brought back all of the circle punches, but these are some of them that I used here on this card, and because it's just a lot quicker than using the dies, right? So okay, now I have all of the things that I'm going to need, and let's talk about this ribbon. Is so awesome. I wanted to share with you how beautiful this is. Now this is the gold and silver trim combo pack. So you also get silver, and the ribbon actually on one side it looks like it's all gold, but when you flip it over, and it's probably going to be hard to see in the camera, there's actually like gold edged and then kind of a whitish color in the middle. So it really is pretty. Now this is new ribbon. It's not in the catalog. It's on this online exclusives gold and silver trim right here. So you can go online if you love this, check it out. It is really awesome. And I was playing with this. This is actually in your card kits too. You're going to get enough to do a couple of bows here with your card kit. So that's always awesome, right? All right, let's start out with some simple things, because maybe we need to, do a couple of simple things here. I've got Blushing Bride ink, and I've got this really cool cascading embossing folder. So of course, if you're using it this way, it looks like it's cascading, but we're actually going sideways with it because we're getting kind of the whole, the fish in the sea, right? So we're going sideways, wavy instead of up and down. And I do have a blending brush in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up some ink here, and we're going to deepen down the ruffles, because they kind of look like ruffles, right? All around the outside edge. And only really around the outside. We don't have to do the middle, because the middle gets covered up with layers. And when I do my in-person classes, it's so fun to watch people, because I'm like, you only have to do the outside, but people have so much fun with their blending brush and the ink that normally they end up doing their entire paper. And of course, if you need practice, the middle where you're going to cover up is the best place to do some practicing. So I just like to do a lot of kind of circular motions here with my blender brushes. And I read recently from another demonstrator, because I do like to follow other people and see, what they're talking about and what they know, right? Because I still learn too. I don't know everything, believe me, still learning. So one of my demonstrator friends suggested that you don't actually wash your brushes in between use. She actually, now of course, it depends on how much room and how much money you have. But she uses, she basically gets one for almost every color, or at least light pinks, dark pinks, light reds, dark reds, and then she continues to use them. She said that with all of the ink saturating into the brushes, when you go ahead and do this coloring, this blending technique, it's less wasteful on the ink, because you already have a lot of ink in here, just kind of activating it, and it works better. And I thought, she's probably onto that, because sometimes when I have a clean, because I do clean mine, when I have a clean blender brush, it takes a while sometimes to get the ink to saturate in, but you can kind of see in the middle here, I didn't do this section right here, so you can see the difference. It does make a difference. So I'm going to think about this whole blending brush situation and the washing of them, because that does take time. So that could be a thing. That could be a thing. I might have to really do some thought on that. Of course, I have to make sure I can store them in my room, because, well, storage is always an issue. So many great Stampin' supplies to own. All right, so this is obviously it's a landscape card. Probably if you could see it better, you would know what I'm talking about. So I'll bring that back into camera view there. So landscape card, and again, we're going kind of sideways with that, which is really fun. Now, this is the texture chic paper, and it has some specialty gold on it, which I really like. Now, this also, that's also really cute, right? So depending on what you're doing, maybe if you're not doing a sea themed, and you're doing a flower themed, maybe you would want to use this paper on your kit instead. But I really like this whole gold that we're going on with. So we're going to go ahead and for this card, because it's kind of a congratulations, we're doing some embossing. We're going to keep this shiny gold side up. So we're just, again, lots of layers on my cards. Love the layers, right? So really, all of this soft suede is getting covered up. We're just seeing the outside edges of it, but it's beautiful. And this is just going to come on here. I'm just making sure I'm not putting things on ahead of time as I'm talking and then realize like, oh, I meant to do something before I actually put it on. So we're okay. We're doing good. And sometimes I like to line them up so I can match them in height if I'm trying to make the same card. When you get 2 of these card kits, you may be doing the same thing. Kind of line them up so that you can make them look similar if that's what you like. All right, so we have just grabbing out what we're going to be embossing and what we're going to be stamping. So we're going to be doing a little bit of different things here. Let's talk about some embossing. So Sandra, I know, was saying recently that she has a hard time with embossing. So I'm going to give out my best embossing tips. First of all, you want to make sure that your Versamark ink is super like juicy. Refill this guy. If it's dry at all, you definitely want your refill. I don't have my refill out, but I always try to make sure it's really wet because powder's not going to stick to your stamp and then to the paper and then to the powder if it's not really wet. So you want to make sure your ink pad's really wet. Obviously, and I know Sandra says she has all the tools, so you've got your Emboss Buddy. So just, go ahead and, pop that on there. You can pounce it a little bit. It's hard to see on this color paper. Sometimes when you use a darker paper, you can see the powdery substance that's on here. So don't be afraid to really get that nicely across your paper to get rid of static. I'm making sure I have the right fish up. So I do have the fish up. We're going to do the little fishes. And then with your embossing powder, embossing powder can go bad. So I keep mine here in these little like Tupperware, Gladware type things. They're not Tupperware. So I keep them like this. Sometimes they get clumpy. If they get clumpy, maybe there's moisture in there that can cause some problems. You can try to put some little pieces of rice maybe off to the side to help to absorb some of the moisture that gets into your powder. That's another thing that you can try. And we're going to just go ahead and we're going to do some fishes here. So let me ink this up, and you can look at your stamp. You can flip it over and look to make sure you look like you have some really great coverage there. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp once, and I'm going to stamp really quickly again, and I'm going to try to figure out where I didn't stamp yet because it's really hard to see with the Versamark. So you want to immediately put your powder on. As soon as you get on, like quick as you can, put the powder on, because you don't want that Versamark that's to dry at all, right? So if you like take your time and you're like, you stamp it with Versamark and then you walk away for a minute, you may lose that little bit of the good powder stuff that you want, okay? So then I like to, obviously you can flick on the back here. Sometimes I use my spoon and kind of tap off any excess. Now, if you have, like I do right here, because I'm holding my paper over here, I might have gotten like some oils here. So I've got this little bit of powder. I use like just a regular little paintbrush. And sometimes I'll clean up my little powder bits, my stray bits, just to get rid of them. And then the next thing you want to do is make sure you preheat your heat tool. And you want your heat tool on high. So I'm just going to heat that up for a second. So when you heat on high, it heats quickly. So the low is for drying things. The high heat on the heat tool is for embossing. And I usually like test it on my arm to like when it's hot, I know it's hot, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the heat. And I usually keep it in one area for quite a while. And as soon as I see it turn shiny, I'm going to move it along just a little bit right down through. So you can kind of see it. As the heat hits it, it just ripples right through there. And embossing in the light is the best because you can kind of tell where it's actually embossed and if you didn't emboss it, right? So when you can turn it in the light and see all the shine going on there, then you know you're good. Now I am actually going to hit the back end of this, so I'm going to just bring this over here, powder this up, and we're going to do this one more time. So again, I'm going to bring in my Versamark. I'm going to get my powder ready because I want my powder to go on quick as I can. And I just have to remember which order my fish are going in because they're going in one way. and I don't want to mess their rhythm up here, right? So they're going to go this way. Okay, so fish are going to go on there. I am immediately putting on my powder, tapping. Sometimes I tap with my spoon just to make sure I get as much of it off of there as I can. And we're going to bring in that heat tool one more time here for the fish. And it's already hot, so this won't take just a second to heat that up. And there's going to be the rest of my little goldfish, and that's like a pun, right? I made goldfish. There we go. There's my little fish, just like that. So cute, right? Just a little elegant. I love these little fish. Kind of swimming along here in a little school. Now, are my fish always perfect? No, I think there's a little bit of powder here that got heated on. And actually, I wanted to point out, this card's not perfect either, because I actually, when I had the powder on before I heat embossed it, I kind of smudged it a little bit. But sometimes, if you only see a little bit, it's okay. It's okay to like not be always perfect, right? All right, we're doing the sentiment too. So again, I'm going to pounce on my powder. I'm going to bring in congratulations and my ink. And we got one more thing here to emboss. So just kind of set everything up and go. So here's my congratulations. And that can go on here just about anywhere because I'm going to trim it down pretty good. So there's congratulations right into the powder. Sometimes I double dip here if I feel like I missed a little bit. But that did go on there pretty well. And my last bit of advice for heat embossing and perfecting heat embossing really is just the same as anything else when you're doing stamping, is practice. The more you practice, the better you're gonna feel confident, you're gonna do it better, and you're gonna, you can do this. So Sandra, I hope that all of these little tips helped, and that you're going to keep practicing and trying heat embossing, because it really is, oh my gosh, it really just provides a really awesome little wow. So on this card, I like to just do little snippies off to the side, right? So I just have that kind of, this is my anti die cutting and anti-punching, my favorite way to do a little sentiment, just like that. All right, so now we can, I feel like I have powder here. The powder, the only thing, okay, here's what I don't like about heat embossing. The little grit, right? The little sand and the little powder that's left behind, kind of annoying. Just a little bit annoying. Now, of course, when you heat emboss, your paper tends to curl, right? We've kind of manipulated the paper. We've heated it up, right? So sometimes you have to take that into consideration when you're heat embossing, that you're going to have a little bit of a curl there. Obviously, adding the glue, gluing it down, keeping things flat. Those are all helpful. You can squish it down a little bit if you need to, but look how pretty. Just how pretty this is coming along. All right, now we got a little bit more stamping to do, and then we're going to finish our assembly here. This is really like the anti-turtle card, right? So we've been talking about sea turtles all night. This is sea turtle stamp set. We've worked with turtles, we've worked with bubbles, things like that. We've worked with now this one we're working with a fish, but we're also working with the starfish and the sand dollar. And this one, this little starfish, there's two sizes. We're using the larger one. So this is the larger one. This is the difference, right? Larger is right there. So we're using the larger one, and we're using the little sand dollar. So the sand dollar is just kind of, okay, it's kind of boring, right? But that's okay. It's still cool. So we're doing crumb cake, I believe. Yes, crumb cake. And we've got our very vanilla here. So we just have this little sand dollar stamp on this little tiny circle punch, which is fantastic. But the starfish is so awesome. So we're actually using the reversible part of the starfish. So I'm going to show you. So this is the smooth side. So this is going to just kind of give me the outline shape here, which is, okay, really boring, right? But then we're gonna flip it. So we need to flip it. So let me wipe that off, because I was going to try to stamp it again and that wouldn't work. So when you use reversible stamp sets, the first rule is to always reverse them when you want to use the detailed side. Now I'm not going to stamp, I didn't stamp off or anything. I'm just stamping this full ink on full ink over top, one over top of the other, and look at the detail in that. Is that not the cool? I mean, I just love that it gives just so many different little pink nuances there. I just love this starfish. This starfish is probably besides the big turtle, my favorite reversible option in this set. Like, it is so awesome. So if you're looking for a stamp set that's not flowers, and it can be used for kids' birthdays, it can be used for masculine, something a little different, right? If you like the sea, the lighthouse kind of stamps, things like that. I mean, these are perfect stamps, obviously, right, to go with our theme here. So we're going to pop these on here with some dimensionals again. I'm just going to put one right in the middle of each. And that's going to give me the ability to kind of intertwine them a little bit, right? So because they're not, I don't have the dimensionals again, we're talking about on the back here. So if I want them to kind of layer like this, I didn't want a dimensional like too close. So it gives me more options. Options are always good, right? Especially in paper crafting. So we're going to put that one there. We're going to put this one down here, kind of overlapping a little bit. I'm going to turn my little guy here just nicely. So pretty. For this one, I'm going to use smaller dimensionals, the minis, because this is so narrow and thin. So let's pop a couple of them. Again, kind of in the middle. And then this is going to come up here, overlapping just a little bit. So pretty, right? And then of course we need our ribbon. We're going to make a little bow with this. And this is nice. It's not so, what words do I want to use? It's not so harsh, right? It's not a super soft, supple ribbon, but it's definitely one that you can bend and manipulate. And we're going to put this on here with a glue dot, if I can find them. I used them earlier. So just a little glue dot down here in the corner. And actually it looks like I turned it like that way a little bit. So the congratulations is kind of my highlight, right? Congratulations! And then we're going to bring in the embellishment here. This is a great embellishment. And I'm going to just pop a few of them on here, just like that. So beautiful. Oh my goodness. So I need to know, which card is your favorite today? Let me move my mat out of the way. And we'll bring in all of our cards one more time. So again, when you get your card kits at home, you get to make 2 of each of these cards. Whether you make them exactly like this or you do something a little bit different, these are all your options as we're taking a look at the awesome cards tonight. Oh my gosh. So good. Let me come over here to Facebook. Hi, Janice. Oh, I hope that the sound worked out for you. And Sandra, you're so welcome. I think my Versamark may not be juicy enough. Yes, that's a super common thing that we always think that we don't have to refill our ink pads. I mean, I'm like that too. Like I'm surprised. How did I run out of ink? I'm using them all the time. How did I run out of ink? So the Versamark is a little bit trickier too, because let's make sure I'm on camera here, right? Versamark, it has that, like, well, I'm sure that's probably what you're using, something similar to this, right? It just pops off and on here. It's not like the most secure lid and whole like sealing system. So I feel like the Versamark ink has the option to dry out quicker because it might not be sealed as well. But I know that Versamark, if you don't have it, if it's not wet enough, definitely that might be the first thing you want to check out. So yeah, I shared lots of great tips tonight, definitely with all of those embossing, some really great cards. I'm loving the sea turtle. This is my first play with sea turtle. I actually played with it in a camp in January. Tabitha may remember, we played with sea turtle. We did a totally different card. And this is my first play with it myself, my own designs. And I really kind of fell in love with this one. It was not my favorite in the catalog, but after I used it for a little bit today when I designed this class, because I'm kind of a last minute girl and I'm always struggling to get stuff done, but I popped these cards out and I just was having so much fun with Sea Turtle. It was a really good time. Now obviously you can take it into a much more like brown and green, like realistic sea turtles. I kind of like to have a play with color because you know I love to play with color. Speaking of which, check out Wednesday, Positive Paper Crafters, because we're going to be doing a color swap card where you get to vote. I'm going to change up one of these cards. I already have it started. So I'm kind of excited. I'm like, you guys can even guess. If you think you want to guess in the comments which card I'm going to color swap. We've got the fun color one with the purple and the Bermuda Bay and the pool party. We've got the more realistic one, which, well, it's got the big blue turtle. I love that one. And then the last card, of course, right? So it's kind of, it's interesting, always interesting. So anyway, so that's the card class from for today. Sandra, I'm so glad you love them all. Thank you for joining over there on the West Coast. So just a quick pop about Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon, Stampin' Up! Demonstrators get to see the retired list. They get to see the new colors that are coming. Basically, we get to see the colors that are leaving. So, and we get to see the new catalog. So there's going to be lots of information that's going to be pouring out Wednesday afternoon. So if you are interested in finding out right away which colors are retiring, what else is retiring, the retiring list is going to be starting, and you're not going to want to miss out on your favorites, right? So I will be sharing by email. I will be sharing on Facebook here as well what's happening on Wednesday afternoon. So make sure you're kind of checking it out so that you can see if there's some colors that you absolutely love that are leaving and you want to get some more cardstock, some more ink, some markers, whatever it is that you need. You definitely want to do it sooner rather than later, because once things sell off of the retired list, they're gone for forever. And that's always a sad thing. So Wednesday afternoon, I'm going to have tons of information for you. And if you order during this week, through Friday, you're going to get these card kits. If you order Saturday and beyond, you're going to be getting next week's card kits. So there's always like, you know, that whole play of like, which card kits do you want, right? All right, so that's it for me. I enjoyed this hour with you so much tonight. It was really good therapy for me because as I struggled through these cards and as I corrected all my struggles, it's always nice to know that you guys are hanging out with me a little bit, cheering me on there in the background. So thank you so much for joining me. You're going to see me again on Thursday for Thursday at 3. And of course, I will be putting lots of information out there. So just make sure you're liking my page, following my page if you want to see everything. Just, you know, hit like on a couple of posts. Facebook will show you more of my stuff if you comment or like on it. If you don't, if you're scrolling by a lot, then Facebook thinks you're not interested and they're not going to show you. So you might miss out stuff that I'm going to announce on Wednesday. So that's a little secret tip from the inside. All right, you guys, thank you again so much for joining me. I appreciate you here very much. Everyone have a good evening, and until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye.